Kevin Arnovitz wrote on the ESPN app a really interesting story about professional drafts being outdated, how the best prospects coming into the league every year could be happier if we went with a different system. Now, Kevin has been beating this drum for many years. This is one of his little pet causes, but I certainly think it's very interesting and an idea as we talk about the larger sense of where professional sports goes. You've been so great on so many of those topics. What do you think about the idea of should we rethink how the draft process works?
I think we should definitely rethink how the draft process works. I'm not enamored with the idea of allowing the players to decide where they go and also having teams with a pool of money bid on it. I'm not crazy about the rookie wage scale, period.
Right.
I liked it better when the rookies made more money than they make now and put some of the risk on that. But I want the incentive to be for teams to win. And I've never been crazy about the number one pick going to one of the worst teams. Because that just incentivizes being bad and rewards being bad. And I'm not sure it's the right way to go. I would love to see that changed. But with that being said, the lottery this year, which I was fortunate enough to work with you, was the best I've ever seen. And so I think we're on the right track of making that even better.
That's the only thing I have a problem with is because it worked this year. But it's a lottery. It's random, right? So there could have been a scenario where the worst three teams got the top three picks, and then we'd sit here and say, oh, it doesn't work, we need to change it more. So we're kind of basing off of one thing. To me, what Kevin's writing about, I wrote about maybe 5 years ago. The idea that you get rid of the draft and you give every team a rookie exception that you can sign guys with. And then the players go and play for teams that are going to set them up for success, either because they've got a positional need or because they're doing the right thing. The main thing I agree with you is we allow people to be bad and say, oh, I meant to do that. Right. Oh, that was part of the plan, part of the process. And for some teams it was. Like Philly, they actually tried to be bad. But there's a lot of these teams out here that want to be good, think they're going to make the playoffs, and then figure out they're bad, and then they start tanking. And I think that's what we need to get out of. We need to get out of the idea that I can cover my mistakes by saying I meant to do it.
Right. Kendrick, as a player, though, look, you grow up in this system, you just expect to be drafted, right? You don't really start thinking. But once you're in it, and once someone decides for you where you're going to live, who you're going to work for, who you're going to work with, if you have kids, where your children are going to be born, for the first 7 years of your professional life, does that feel okay to you because that's the way the system is, or does it start to feel frustrating?
It feels great to me because just think about it, man. You're getting drafted to the NBA. This is a dream that every kid that I had coming out of high school. You're getting drafted. Like, the draft in itself is history. Like, just to be part of a draft is history. So I don't care if I'm going to Milwaukee. I don't care if I'm going to a small city in Wisconsin. I don't care if I'm going to Beaumont, Texas. You know, this is history. And I don't think you should want to change history. This is something that you should want to be a part of, getting drafted. Like, this says a lot. Like, getting drafted, who cares what team you have to go to? This is the NBA. This is the highest stage of basketball. This is what kids live for. So it shouldn't matter to me, in my opinion.
And not to make this a legal discussion because ESPN can't afford my hourly rate. But the players do have to agree to this system. I mean, the Players Association agrees to it with the league, and they wind up getting great benefits out of it, minimum salaries, all that stuff, max deals, all the things that are so good for the players. And I do think there's value in having the talent spread around the league.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you can wind up having, just like that we do in college now, where the players are communicating now and they're actually going to school together.
Right. Yeah.
Would we want that in the NBA where people are recoiling against super teams once players hit free agency? Would they do it if they were doing it when they're 18, 19 years old? That would be something else.
And my another perspective is, let's not take this for granted. Like, it's 1 out of 400,000 kids that get drafted or make it in any sports. Like, we can't take the NBA draft. The NBA is the NBA. Like, players want to be here. Like, I don't know, like switching it up or whatever. Nah, man, let's keep history where it need to be. Like kids, myself, we look forward to this. Getting your name called. It don't matter where you go. Wherever you go play, it don't matter, man. Just go hoop, man. You're in the NBA.
There's been conversations. Do you want a matching system? Do you want, as you said, sort of a pool that the teams would have and be able to bid on certain players? I do think the draft itself as a moment has so much value. What I love about the NBA is that this is a league that is not afraid of change.